Vice President Kamala Harris just absolutely destroyed some hecklers who were trying to interrupt her speech tonight during her rally in Detroit, Michigan. And she did so in the most perfect way. So I actually have two clips to show you because it happened twice. The first time she stopped the protesters, she was very nice but firm, said, hey, like, your voice is important. It's a democracy here, but I'm kind of doing my thing. I'm giving a speech on the importance of this upcoming election. But they continued. They kept protesting, kept trying to interrupt her. So she got more firm and very much so put them in their place. Very well done by Kamala Harris. This is exactly how it should be done. So here's the first instance and that first clip.
Project 2025, if he is elected, it's all good. It's all good. I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. I am speaking now.
Yeah, that's a class act right there. She just was getting interrupted. She stopped her speech, just stood there for a second waiting for them to be removed. Then she said, you know what? I'm here for your speech. I understand you disagree with me on something. I believe these are Gaza protesters, Middle East protesters, saying, hey, I know you disagree with me, and your voice matters, and it's a democracy, but I'm speaking here. I know I'm speaking. And she's talking about really, really important issues: reproductive rights, climate change, healthcare, democracy. All of these things are really important, and we need to be talking about them. And it's also just respect. Like, she's given a speech here, right? She's a presidential candidate, the Democratic presidential candidate, running against someone who's incredibly dangerous like Donald Trump. She needs her voice heard. I understand that people are passionate, but let's have some respect here, right? Let's have some respect here. She's not going to just stop her speech in the middle of it to try to go in the crowd and shake your hand or something like that. No, she's a presidential candidate. Let's have some damn respect. You know what I mean? And so she handled it well on the first time, saying, like, you know what, I respect your voice. It's democracy. I hear you, right? But I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm giving my speech right now. You have your time to make your voice heard, and that's both perfectly okay. But I'm giving a speech right now. This is my time. And she deserves that time. She deserves to be heard, and she deserves that respect from a crowd. And you know, why not? She's historic. She has a lot of very important things to say, and we should be listening to Vice President Kamala Harris when she speaks, not pulling off these silly antics like we just saw right here of people trying to disrespectfully interrupt her as well. It's no way to get somebody's attention, is it, or try to move your cause along. But as I mentioned, the protesters continued. They kept trying to interrupt her. They kept trying to mess up the rally, and you know, the security was having trouble removing everybody. There was a lot of them, so Kamala Harris hit back at them, and as I mentioned, really put them in their place. And this clip is currently going viral right now. It's that good. So take a look.
He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
Yeah, wasn't that fantastic? And the crowd just went wild. I mean, you could feel the energy through the screen on that one. They seriously turned up the volume. And actually, on that topic, we have some reporting from Katie Rogers, who's a New York Times reporter for the White House. She said, quote, "This moment got the loudest roar of the rally in Detroit, and it was a very high bar." So that moment right there, where Kamala Harris responded to these very disrespectful protesters, was the most hyped up moment. People were excited about that moment, and they gave the loudest reaction. And it was a great response from Kamala Harris, wasn't it? She started firm and nice, as we talked about, but now she's saying, hey, all right, move it along. You had your moment. You had your time. All right, now it's time to focus back up and talk about the really important issues, the immediate issues that are facing this country right now, that being, anything that's impacting your average American, but also Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, who could very well win this election if people don't show up to the ballot box. And also, like, I love her comment there saying, like, hey, if you just want Donald Trump to win, just say that. Because that's the impact of what they're doing. They're in this venue, they're chanting that they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. And while they're very passionate about their topic, which is the Middle East, not voting for Kamala Harris and allowing Donald Trump to win Michigan and then subsequently the election doesn't solve their cause. It doesn't change anything. It just makes America worse. It makes the Middle East worse. And then in turn, we have Donald Trump, who's incompetent. He's a man child, and he has objectively worse policy times like a million. If that's their cause, if that's what they want as a result, then great. Then just say that. Just say that you want Donald Trump to win the election. You don't got to do all this. You don't have to go into Kamala Harris's rally and interrupt her and pretend to be for something when in reality, the intended result is something else. It's a Donald Trump victory, which would hurt all of us, some more than others, but all of us in some way and some form. I mean, seriously, it was a really good solid response from Kamala Harris, and that's what we like to see. That's what we like to see, and I think that this points to another aspect of politics right now. This moment right here, where Kamala Harris is like persevering through these people chanting at her, interrupting her speech, interrupting what she's talking about, and then but staying on track, but then also hitting back, is exactly why Donald Trump does not want to debate Kamala Harris. He does not want to get on the debate stage with her for this very reason, because Kamala Harris is witty. She's quick on her feet. And if Donald Trump gets on the debate stage with her, she will crush him. It won't even be close. He's not as fast as she is with these responses. And as we've talked about on this channel before, she's a former district attorney, a former prosecutor, a former attorney general of the state of California. She knows how to argue. She knows her way around an argument. And if Donald Trump tries some of this action on a stage where he just goes off on a tangent or tries to interrupt her, she will put him in his place, as she has done her entire career with people who've tried to do this to her, with whether it be interrupting her during her rallies or even with the debate back with Mike Pence in 2020. She will always put the opposition in their place if they try some nonsense like this, just like she did there. And things like this are ringing in Donald Trump's head. Things like this are the reason he has not stepped on the debate stage with Kamala Harris, because he is so terrified, the narcissist that he is so terrified of that public embarrassment, that public humiliation. He talks a big talk. He goes on Truth Social, says, hey, I would destroy Kamala Harris in a debate. It wouldn't be close. That's what he says. And then when it comes time to show up, when push comes to shove, he's not getting on that debate stage. He comes up with any excuse, just like J.D. Vance is as well today. He's dodging the debate with Governor Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, because he also knows that he's just not that great. He's just not that great of a debater. And he knows that, similarly, that he's also a little bit of a narcissist, isn't he? That if he got on that debate stage with Tim Walz, it would not go well for him. They just don't want that 1-2 punch. The Trump to get defeated and then J.D. Vance to get defeated. They don't need that for their campaign right now. That's the last thing they need. They've lost momentum. They've lost steam. They've lost speed. Their fundraising is lagging. Their volunteering is lagging. All of that is just not where it needs to be. The last thing they need is Donald Trump getting circles ran around him on a stage and then J.D. Vance flailing on national television. That's the last thing they need. But this is, these are the kind of instincts we need from our leaders. This is Kamala Harris at her best. Really, really well done by Kamala Harris. And as I mentioned, this moment is going viral on social media right now. The video is just spreading like wildfire, especially that stare that Kamala Harris gave them, that very firm stare, the kind of stare that you got from your parents when you were a kid, letting you know that now it's time to be serious. Now it's time to listen to what they're saying. Otherwise, there's some consequences for that. That's what she just looked like right there. And it's just fantastic. So I just wanted to show you that moment. If you hadn't seen it already, it's everywhere right now. You might have already, but really, really well done by Kamala Harris, along with the entire rally. She was on fire tonight. Tim Walz was on fire tonight. Every other speaker, including Gretchen Whitmer, was on fire tonight. Really solid stuff. The Trump campaign just can't hang. While they were doing this, while they were speaking to a packed crowd in Detroit, Michigan, Donald Trump was sitting at Mar-a-Lago, typing on Truth Social and playing golf with his billionaire buddies. That's what he did tonight versus what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz did tonight. So anyway, I'll wrap up the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot if you would do that. Also, drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.